what's up, everybody? Welcome to Stranger Things Has Happened, Season 3, Chapter 5. I'm here with the lovely Lunar Girl. How you doing, Kelly?
Thanks. Pretty good. And I'm here with my bro Snooch. How you doing, Snooch?
How you doing?
How you doing?
Doing pretty good. We got the new studio set up over here.
It
It's a
looks
different
fantastic.
vibe. It's a different feel.
I absolutely love it. You need to get a Stranger Things pop in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I still have my Stranger Things Pez up there, and I finished my Lego Demogorgon. I posted that on the socials last week. That was like,
I remember that.
I did it. That was fun.
Yep,
That
definitely
was fun.
cool. Maybe I can get like a Demogorgon to put up there.
Yeah, totally do it. Totally do it. I want to make a Demodog next.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah, every Demogorgon needs a Demodog.
I had a Demogorgon once. I had a shot right down my pee hole.
Was that in high school?
No, that was last week.
Oh, and we had a sidebar celebration.
Oh yeah, that was a good time.
That was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago. That was fantastic time. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Made me wonder if we should make some Stranger Things stickers. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, we could do that.
Maybe.
The price of stickers has gotten so expensive.
But those sticker mule sales, and you can get 50 for $19 makes it all worth it. So
yeah, but I used to get 100 for $19.
Oh shit!
and they went from being 3-inch to 2-inch.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Thanks, Obama.
Dickheads. Thanks, Obama.
I didn't know what else to say.
No, it's one of my favorite things. Fucking aliens are invading. Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama. The economy sucks again.
Yeah, thanks Obama, you prick. I know you fixed it back in the day, but now you're a dick. Can't fix it again, Mr. I went 2 terms. Fuck off.
Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama. You really let us down.
Well, maybe he can be one of Joe Biden's handlers. So.
Oh, fuck Joe Biden. It's all Obama. It's Obama or nothing.
It's Obama or nothing. But it could be Joe Obama.
It could be Joe Mama.
Yo Mama. Yo Mama.
All right.
Anyway, Stranger Things Season 3, Chapter 5, The Flayed. How do you feel about this episode?
The Flayed.
The Flayed. The Flayed.
To blaze.
How do you feel about this episode?
You know what? This episode was kind of like balls to the wall kind of shit's happening.
Oh, hell yeah.
There wasn't a down part of the whole fucking thing.
Fucking Jake Busey.
Fuck Jake Busey.
Fucking Jake Busey. Fucking Jake Busey makes me miss fucking Bob.
Fucking Bob.
Fucking Bob. Miss fucking Bob.
Everybody loves Bob.
Yeah.
Ooh, they got a Demogorgon plush toy.
Oh.
I know, it's so sweet. I want to snuggle it.
I want to snuggle and go to sleep with it, and maybe it'll come in my dreams.
What does or doesn't come in your dreams is your own fucking business. You want to talk about this episode?
Let's get to it. All right. So we're going to start with Steve and Robin and Erica and Dustin. And when they left off, we immediately picked up. They're plummeting in that freaking elevator that they thought was a warehouse. They're still plummeting. God knows how many floors they went down because, they were still plummeting. They're screaming and screaming, and all of a sudden it stops. And, Erica and Dustin are fighting over buttons, trying to open the door. And Robin, who is always thinking she is calm, cool, and collected, at all times says, duh, you guys, you need a key card. And then Steve's like, what's a key card? And I had to remind myself, this is 1985. Key cards were like brand new technology back then. So she explained it. Dustin, however, is like, we don't have a key card, but we can climb out. So he climbs up on top of the elevator and then looks up and says, holy crap, I don't even know how many floors we went down. We can't climb that. We then switch over to Hopper and Joyce, who have been driving around all night long to different properties trying to find this damn magnetic thingamajigger. I'll just call it that. They stop at the Hess estate this time and they go in, and it's not decrepit. There's an armchair with some freshly smoked cigarette butts, so it's definitely being lived in. The light in the hall was pulsing. They're, going around with the flashlight. They go into a bedroom. That light is pulsing. There's a mattress there. There's no bedspread or anything, which is kind of ew if you're sleeping on a mattress. At least throw a sheet down on it, but whatever.
Right.
It's neither here nor there. But Joyce hears a noise. Hopper can't hear a noise, but Joyce hears a noise, which is typical because women usually hear the noises and guys usually can't hear it. I don't know why that is, but that's how it always happens. So Joyce is getting on the floor. She's like, it's coming from below the floor. And then she sees that there is like this grate in the bed frame, and it's like red and pulsing. And she's like, it's in the bed. And what do you know? Hopper lifts it up. It's a Murphy bed with a secret passage that goes downstairs. Woo.
Right, because everything in the 80s was a secret passage.
Exactly. This is like very Scooby-Doo-esque to me this time. Like a lot of this was Scooby-Doo-esque. This was one of them. Huzzah! It's a Murphy bed. They go downstairs, and just as they go downstairs, the motorcycle guy pulls in because this must be his home now. Hopper and Joyce, they get downstairs. They see two guys, nerdy guys, weakling guys. They're trying to fix something or other. And, of course, Hopper's like, hey, dipshits, Hawkins PD. But they don't speak an ounce of English. And they're like, huh? The Russian guy, they're bantering back and forth in Russian because they don't understand English. And Hopper doesn't understand Russian. And Joyce is like, there's footsteps. It's the motorcycle guy. And the motorcycle guy comes downstairs with what looks like okay, I don't know all my guns, but was this an AK?
No.
No.
It was probably, what do they call it? A Kalashnikov, or let me look it up. It was a Russian automatic rifle.
I have no idea. We probably saw it in Call of Duty or GoldenEye a few times, but honestly, I don't know my guns, so I admit it.
Kalashnikov. Kalashnikov. No, that's not what that was.
Mm-hmm.
That was...
I don't know.
That was an American rifle, now that I think about it. Because it was snub-nosed.
Yeah. And it had like the curvy handle and the straight handle, and it was brown.
Oh, if it was brown, then it was a Kalashnikov then.
Oh, all right.
Because an AK-47 would be black on black. But
okay,
the little thing that I do know about weapons is the AK-47 is modeled after the Kalashnikov.
Thanks. Yay, so I wasn't that far off.
I super don't know anything about guns, and I have no idea why I know that.
I don't know. Maybe you played a game like that.
No, probably because liberal media bitching about fucking assault weapons. Because
Thanks, Obama.
I don't give a fuck about guns. Like I'll go to the range and I'll fire off a few rounds. Like I'm not afraid of guns. I just don't give a fuck about them. It's like
Yes, I
hammer.
don't study the names of them. I
Yeah, I don't
just
get excited about hammers. Like, I need a hammer to put in a
Mhm,
nail. I know what guns do.
mhm.
They're just a hammer to me.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. So it was a gun, and he's downstairs now. Motorcycle guy has this big gun, and he's downstairs now, okay?
Mhm.
And he sees one of the Russian nerds, like, tied up. And he's, like, looking around, and he sees the other Russian nerd, and Hopper's like, "Don't move." Comes up, like, right behind his head with his own cop pistol. And then a fight breaks out. Whoever, didn't see that one coming, but yeah, I saw that one coming. And then Hopper lost his gun, and Joyce grabs the gun, and it's like, yes, and she's like, Hopper, and she launches the gun, and it flies over Hopper, and it lands next to the Russian, and it's like, way to go, Joyce. That's a smooth move. So yeah, Joyce threw the gun over Hopper's head. And they Joyce is like, run, and they take the one hostage with them, and they run out of the house, and like motorcycle guy is shooting up the floor, and he's like shooting up the walls trying to get after them, and Hopper throws the keys to Joyce, and he's like, drive, 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 and Joyce is like, I don't know what key it is, and he's like, would you please just drive?
Right.
And finally, Joyce peels out, but motorcycle guy is on the front porch, and he's just shooting up Hopper's truck. But they got out. They got out.
So that's another thing I do know about guns.
Yeah.
From that distance,
Yeah.
that gun pretty fucking useless. Especially
Yeah.
fired from the hip like that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just a spray and mess. And he was
Yeah.
shooting pretty well for
Yeah, because it's an SMG, isn't it?
yeah, it's they're just super erratic. They bounce all
Yeah.
over the place.
I know
And
SMGs from Call of Duty. I do know that one.
yeah, I don't know, a submachine gun, right?
Yeah. I like SMGs for the short range, and I like LMGs for the long range.
Right, because you take a gun like that and anything over like 50 yards, you're just bouncing all over the fucking place anyway.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
really cute in close quarter combat. They're great.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Totally. So they get out though. The truck's all shot to shit, but they made it out.
I maintain that with that gun, he'd probably be lucky to hit that truck more than 2-3 times.
Oh yeah, but he shot the windshield out.
Oh,
That
yeah.
truck was totally shot
Yeah,
out.
Swiss cheese that truck.
He totally Swiss cheese that truck. Ugh. So rip Hopper's truck. And then we immediately flash over. The phone is ringing, and it's Jonathan laying in bed. It's 5:48 a.m. Jonathan's like, nah, shut up. And he puts a pillow over his head, and the phone stops ringing. And the phone immediately rings again. And he's like so pissed off, and he answers his phone. He's like, what? And it's Nancy. And Nancy's still at the hospital because, the night before she was like Mrs. Driscoll's granddaughter. And they start to squabble. There's a lot of squabbling in this episode, but they're squabbling. And Nancy's like, look, just put me on the phone with your brother. And it's 6 a.m. And Jonathan's like, he's not home. And Nancy's like, is he safe? And Jonathan's like, why you asking me if he's safe, Nancy? Why you asking me if he's safe? And like, Jonathan's awake now. And the opening credits happen. That was like...
That was a lot for just
a lot before
pre-opening
opening
credits.
credits. Yeah, yeah.
At that point, I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, like they sucked me right in before the show even technically started,
Mm-hmm.
So it was great, though. I enjoyed it. After opening credits, we're in the forest. It is morning. We're in the forest because Hopper is cussing and assessing the damage on his truck. Joyce is trying to communicate with, Russian nerd guy. She's like, magnets, magnets. And he's like, magnets? And she's like, yes, you know what a magnet is. And
Like,
couldn't
how
really
fucking
didn't though.
futile. Like, why bother?
Yes, magnets fall off fridge, and it's like it's not working, Joyce. And Hopper, he's all types of pissy right now, and Hopper yells at her, get over here. They're fighting like an old married couple. The Russian is watching them fight, trying to fix the truck. Joyce is trying to start the truck. Hopper's like in the engine and shit. Well, not in the engine, but over top of it. And
Right.
the Russian guy starts yelling, stop, stop, stop. And nobody's listening to him. And then he starts like in Russian, a million words a minute. And Hopper gets pissed off and he's like, look, you blah, 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 blah. And the Russian guy's like, huh? And smoke is billowing out of this truck. And like Joyce is like, oh, maybe I should stop trying to turn it on and stop hitting the gas pedal. And she's like, oh shit. And she gets out of the truck and they run away and kaboom, the truck blows up. I have to say, this was the most realistic truck explosion from the 80s that I have ever seen.
Right.
Because usually in the 80s, if you think back, when a car exploded, it was like mini nuclear bomb. And that doesn't really happen. They don't lift off the ground, and it just doesn't happen. That's how it happens. I know this because my car blew up in my driveway when I was 19 years old. Actually, 18.
It blew up?
Yeah. It was January 3rd, and I was supposed to start school at Penn State on January 9th, and I was going to turn 19 on January 11th, and my car blew up in my driveway. And it looked like that.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've never seen a car blow up. I had one catch on fire, but I've never seen one blow up.
And my brother, the one that you met on the last ATSW the Escape Pod live stream, Fizzy Winks, he was a volunteers firefighter at that time, and he actually got a certificate for being first on the scene.
Interesting.
Because he grabbed the fire extinguisher while I was calling 911. Yeah.
That's funny.
Never a dull moment. So, like, they see that this Russian was just trying to warn them. He wasn't trying to fight them. So now they start walking through the forest, and Hopper's like squishing bugs, and like, holy shit, he's in the world between worlds, whatever we call that in between place. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening? And then it fades out. It was just Elle trying to find her dad.
Mm-hmm.
It was just Elle. Just Elle. No, he's not in the world between worlds. Elle is in Mike's bedroom with the gang. They never went to sleep after fighting Billy the night before. They all just like, chilled in Mike's basement.
Right.
Max and Elle, after that whole thing, Max and Elle go into the bathroom, as girls do. And, Max is wiping the bleeding nose. And she's looking at the abrasions all over Elle's neck from when Billy was choking her, asking her if she's okay and stuff. They talked about the boys a little bit. Meanwhile, Mike and Will and Lucas are trying to make a plan to stop the Mind Flayer, because stopping Billy is not going to work. You have to attack the Mind Flayer, and we know this. And then they start talking about the girls. The girls hear them. Will's like, trying to get back to the topic and saying, well, maybe Elle knows how to stop the Mind Flayer. They hear a knock, and Mike's like, not now, Mom. And it's not Mom, no. It's Nancy and Jonathan.
Yeah.
So, like,
I can't remember. Have we ever really explored what Elle's connection is with the Upside Down?
I don't think so.
I don't
Other
think
than
so
telekinesis?
either. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
clearly she has that, but she always seems to have deeper understanding of what they're dealing with than everybody else does.
Well, she was kind of like bred to do that per se, because her mom was, you know, her mom was Elle's petri dish, I guess you can say.
Yeah, but I mean, really, they just pumped her full of drugs. That was the whole deal, right?
Yes. Yes.
She was a
Yeah.
product of the 60s or the 70s fucking drug experiments that they were doing with like LSD and shit.
Exactly. And then when they found out that Elle and several other kids had superpowers, they were lab raised. So
She's
she
a lab
developed
rat.
it to a certain point. Yeah, she was a lab rat. And then when she met her sister, who was she, 4?
Yeah.
Something like that. And then she taught her how to control it a little bit. So that's how I explained it in my head.
That's fair.
Yeah. So we're not going to hear what Jonathan and Nancy have to say just yet, because we're back in the fucking elevator again. Dustin's doing code red on his walkie-talkie, but nobody can hear because you're like a million floors under the earth right now. Steve and Dustin are going back and forth, because they have that bromance, yet they pick on each other like brothers. And Dustin's like, oh, you spent the night with Robin. And Steve's like, shut up about that shit, And Steve's like, turn around, I gotta take a piss, And Steve starts peeing, and meanwhile, in the elevator, because they're on top of the elevator, in the elevator, Robin is just watching the wall getting coated with pee.
This is the most dangerous elevator I've ever seen.
Yeah, because of that green thing.
No, I've just never seen an elevator where you can, from inside the elevator, you can touch the elevator shaft.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, could you imagine, like, if you were on this elevator, you lost your balance and you put your hand on that?
Yeah, there goes your hand.
Right the fuck off.
You got nubs.
Like, nubs. I know that like OSHA wasn't really so strong back then, but we were still not. We were putting walls in the elevator.
Yeah. Yeah. So, meanwhile, Erica has the canister of green ooze and she's trying to smack it open because Erica, who is very smart, isn't so smart. She was like, we could survive without food, but we can't survive more than blah, blah, blah without something to drink. And
right. I don't think she's so much that she's smart. She's just, she was small and had moxie.
Yeah, totally agree with that. Totally.
I'm not sure she ever displayed any advanced intelligence other than she's a mouthy little shit.
She's like a rogue.
She very much is like, well, I'm going to tell everybody about the things and get my way.
She's totally like a rogue. How is that going to benefit me? What do I get out of it?
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. So, and here we go again. Robin puts her ear to the wall because she hears something. Not the pee though. She didn't put her ear in the pee. And she's like, we got company. It happens to be the Russians because they're downstairs in the secret lab now, a million floors under the earth. The Russians have a key card. They unlock the box or unlock the door, start unloading the boxes. Everybody's up on the elevator roof. One dude smells pee. The other one is smoking a cigarette, and he's like, whatever, grab a box. They leave. The door starts to close. Steve jams the door open from closing with the canister of green slime. And, just like whatever 80s action movie you want to say, they're shooting under it, shooting under the little tiny opening left in the door. And just as the last person gets out, canister, explodes.
Mm-hmm.
Green ooze all over the floor. Green ooze eats the fucking floor. And Robin's like, so you still
gonna
want to
drink
drink that? Yeah. And then they turn around and they see the longest tunnel in the world.
You ever see that movie, The Rock,
Maybe.
where they got the little canister with the little green balls in it?
I don't think I did. Yeah, that
No.
doesn't sound familiar.
Something about fucking nuclear material, and
Mhm.
it's a whole thing.
Right.
So, and it's got something to do with Alcatraz for whatever reason. But I
I
just don't
might have
remember.
seen it. That
I
sounds
just
like.
don't remember.
Do
Nicholas
you have
Cage.
Sean
actually.
Connery in it? No.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think it
Okay,
did.
then I think I saw it.
I'm gonna have to
I don't
look.
remember it.
I want to
but-
say it was like Nicholas Cage and fucking Sean Connery.
Right. I think I did see it.
Ooh,
That
was
must
a
have tasted
bonus.
good.
It did.
So now we're back at the Wheelers' house, okay? And Nancy and Jonathan and the gang, they all shared with each other what they know, right? That's, I'm trying to cut time. Mrs. Driscoll had to have been flayed. And they're like, what's flayed? Well, if Billy's the mind flayer, he's flayed. And this happened at the same time that Mrs. Driscoll started freaking out in the hospital. They were flayed by the mind flayer. The mind flayer has control of all of them. And if there's two flayed at the same time, we have to assume there's more that are being flayed. Elle remembers Heather acting all weird.
Mhm.
And Nancy then makes a connection with Heather to Tom, the boss, with the
boss. What a
oopsies on
dick.
his head. What a douche. He's such a douche.
Are you ready
And then
for
they
this?
all, what?
Sean Connery,
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
A mild-mannered chemist and ex-con must lead the counterstrike when a rogue group of military men led by renegade general threatens to nerve gas attack from Alcatraz in San Francisco.
I knew I saw it. I don't remember it that well, but I knew I saw it.
Mm-hmm. It's in the head, but like none of it's useful.
Yeah, exactly. Someday, maybe. I'll wake up in the middle of the night in 5 years and say, oh my gosh, I remember that now. I do shit like that.
Yeah, me too.
So they're all done. They make their connections and they're like, oh, we got to go see Heather. And they all hop in Nancy's station wagon and the back of the station wagon. Mike and Lucas are in the back of the station wagon. I used to love riding in the back of station wagons.
Me
it was so
too.
freaking cool. It was the best, man.
Yep, that's totally a thing that's gone. I remember
It's
like
gone.
getting picked up constantly by my friend's dad and him being like, "Can we ride in the back?"
Yes.
And we totally would. We'd ride in the back of the station wagon.
It was even cooler when they opened the back window.
Yes. Because that's what they would do. They'd open the back window. We'd crawl through the whole, the whole thing.
I don't do that anymore. I guess that was dangerous or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it was super dangerous.
It was fun.
It was fun.
It was fun.
It felt like freedom.
Yes. So we're back in the woods, okay? Motorcycle guy tracked them into the woods. Motorcycle guy finds a truck. Okay, but Joyce and Hopper are like way ahead of him, and they're bitching again. They're just bitching at each other again. And Alexei, which is nerdy Russian science guy's name, Alexei starts running. Hopper again thinks he's trying to freaking escape, and he's like, "Get the hell back here!" and running after like Alexei and stuff. And Alexei stops, and Alexei just led them to a 7-Eleven.
Right.
So they go in right over to the drink case and, they're pounding sodas. And Alexei found a slushy machine for the first time. And Alexei's just like, he's at Disney World, It's like he never saw a slushy machine before. He's just like, he has this giant
like
slushy
licking the machine.
He's licking the machine and It was so freaking funny. That was good. I really liked that. It broke it up a little bit. Um, so they pay the cashier, which is like, some 20-year-old punk ass, you're gonna pay for that, right? Hopper bought his cigarettes and a couple other things, drinks. They need a new car though. Yeah.
Before we go any farther,
Yeah.
Slurpees never had anything on slush puppies. I'll die on that hill.
I preferred slushies, but growing up where I grew up, slushies were very rare because there were no 7-Elevens. There were a lot of Turkey Hills. And so we had the slush puppies.
Slush puppies.
Anyway,
puppies. Carry on.
Anyway, yeah. So they need a car. And they go outside and they see this yuppie filling up with gas in his like old convertible and shit. And Hopper totally commandeers that vehicle. His name is Todd, by the way.
The Todd father.
Yes. I thought that was so funny. His license plate's a Todd father. Hopper's telling him he's one of the most dangerous men in the world. And there's Alexi just smiling and sipping his Slurpee like it's freaking at Disneyland, it's just so funny. Yeah, so they take Todd's car. Joyce gets in and everything, and they disappear. The yuppie wasn't too happy about that though. We're back underground again. Dustin and Robin are nerding out. They're just like talking nerd stuff. And Steve and Erica are like, Erica, of course, is making fun of them. And Steve's like, don't you loop me in with them. I'm not a nerd. I'm cool. They're speculating on the green ooze. And what kind of operation these Russians are doing underground. And then they hear the Russian code, the code that we've heard every single episode so far this season. And they realize that they've got to be near the surface, because if a code's going out, they might be able to use their walkie.
Right.
The gang and Jonathan and Nancy pull up to Heather's house. Nobody's answering the door. Elle force opens the door. The house is freezing and it smells. And they get into the kitchen. There's cleaning chemicals everywhere. All the chemicals have been eating. Then they're speculating, like, why would they eat chemicals? And I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Will. Maybe it was Lucas, but one of them said, remember what Mr. Science Guy told us, science teacher, when you mix chemicals, it forms a new chemical. And they're like, well, wouldn't this kill a human? Yeah, but maybe they're not human anymore.
Right.
So, yeah.
They're definitely goo.
Definitely goo. There's blood on the floor, and Nancy Drew matches it up to blood on the wine bottle. Somebody got hit in the head. Oh, Tom came in with bandages on his head.
Remember?
Yeah. Now they're in the garage. There's rope on the ground. They must have tied somebody up. Somebody tied somebody up. How are they going to find out, though? Where are they? Nobody knows what to do. And then they remembered Mrs. Driscoll wanted to go back, and maybe we should just let her loose. So they're like, we got to go to the source, and Mrs. Driscoll knows where she has to go. So now they're going to go to the hospital, but not yet. Because we're back with Motorcycle Guy, who, I don't know. Is it just me, or does he remind you like of the Terminator? Like he's stiff when he walks.
I very much think that was like a conscious effort. They're like, oh, we're going to be a cliche 80s Russian guy. And he's like, but what if I do the Terminator?
Okay. Yeah.
They give him the leather jacket and the stupid biker gloves. Like it seems very intentional.
The only thing is he didn't have a shotgun, so
Well,
but he had that.
that was Terminator 2, though.
That is true. That
Yeah,
is true.
think more Terminator 1
Yeah,
vibes.
you're right. You're absolutely right. So the motorcycle guy, I guess he knows his nature because he was able to track them to the 7-Eleven. He asked the cashier kid to tell him what happened, and the cashier's kid's like, I already told the cops. And motorcycle guy takes the cashier kid and like slams him down on the counter and is like, no, you tell me and you look at me when you're talking. Like, that's kind of weird.
You shut up when I'm talking to you.
Like, look at me when you're talking. That's kind of weird.
Answer me when I'm yelling at you.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. We're back with Hopper and Joyce, and they took Alexi to that journalist conspiracy guy that Nancy and Jonathan went to.
They're
last
getting a lot of
season.
fucking mileage out of that dude. I just want to say.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. And the weirdo guy, he's like, names, but we don't know Alexi's last name. And besides, Hopper's like, it's Smirnoff, and Joyce is like, Hopper, it's Alexi, because like they're acting like a married couple now.
Right.
Weird conspiracy guy opens up the door and there's a shotgun pointed right in their face. The Russian guy totally freaked out. He starts speaking a mile a minute in Russian. One of the things he called him was like a bald American pig.
He's like, might be bald.
Yeah. Conspiracy guy knows Russian. So they all go into the house. Conspiracy guy has like this homemade metal detector contraption with like little battery charger pinchers and whatever.
Yeah, he's looking for a wire. That's what he's doing.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, I knew it was like a metal detector. I didn't know. Okay, that makes sense.
He's just looking for magnetic fields like you would get off of some kind of like a wire. Microphone
totally makes
cable.
sense. Totally makes sense. So Hopper's trying to speed it up. The journalist is like, you let an enemy of the state into my home. I'm going to take as long as I need to check and make sure he's safe. So Hopper and Joyce, they go to the other side of the room and they're bickering again. They're bickering. But conspiracy guy says, would you knock it off with your lover's quarrel? And we're not in love. And I'm like, yes, you are. You're so in love.
You're such a shipper.
I am. I've been shipping them since the first season. Like, come on, give it to me already.
It's not going to happen.
Nah, don't do that to me. That hurts. So, and then Joyce goes total psycho bitch on this guy. And I'm like, yeah, Joyce. Basically tells him, you're gonna look, I've been out in the woods, I've been shot at, I've been walking, it's 100 fucking degrees out, I haven't slept, and blah blah blah, and you're gonna do this for me, and that is that. And I'm like, yay, Joyce. You tell him, Joyce.
Let him have it.
Yeah, but that's the Joyce that I love. I love that Joyce. So yeah, that's and that's the end of that scene. We're back in the tunnels. They finally got to the end of the 1,000,000-mile corridor. They round the corner and they see Russian military all over the place, like a very active, armed guards, people in uniform. They don't know where they are.
This whole thing seems like complete and total bullshit to me, though, too. Like,
probably
the amount of resources and stuff that would be happening to create something of that size underground at the mall would have drawn some attention.
Well, yeah.
That shit wasn't just moved.
They have to drill the tunnels, and
there was a crane. There was, you don't build an elevator shaft like that without a crane.
Good thing it's make believe, though, huh?
Damn it. It's not real.
It's not real, hun.
Aw,
Sorry. Somebody went snap and made a studio of it.
not cool. I'm done.
No, don't leave me. I'm only halfway through.
I'm out.
No, don't leave me. All right.
Carry on.
So Erica sees the comms room, and Steve, of course, is accusing her, like, how can you possibly see a comms room? And Erica's like, dude, it has a million lights and blah, 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 blah. It's a comms room. So she points it out. They're still hiding, and Steve's like, move fast, stay low, and they sneak into that comms room because they see a guy go out, and then they go in, which I don't know how sneaky it is because the thing is half windows. I'm sure, it would be very easy to be seen at that point. But they get into the room, and there's still a guy on the walkie because there were two guys in there. All of a sudden, like, Steve finds his balls, and like he screams and he goes like Goldberg spears him, and they're fighting back and forth. And Steve takes the microphone thing, which was a big heavy metal thing back then, and goes like smash, and smashes him on the head and knocks him out. We are, let's see, Robin, who is always, like I said, calm, cool, and collected, always thinking ahead. While there's the scuffle, and then Dustin starts blowing smoke up Steve's ass that he finally won his first fight. Robin's already walking up the set of stairs to see where they go. And where does it go? It goes into the lab that we saw in the first episode, overlooking that fucking Hadron Collider bullshit. And they're still trying to open the Upside Down. So it's not in Russia. It's right there. That Hadron Collider shit. Yeah. So now we're at the hospital, because the whole station wagon of them all went to the hospital, and they're trying to get into ICU, like every single one of them. But there's only one nurse at the desk, and the nurse is like, who the hell are all these kids? And Nancy's like, oh, it's extended family. And then there's Lucas, and Lucas is like, I'm a friend of the family or something like that, which is really funny. The nurse is like, two visitors, just two. So Jonathan and Nancy decide to go and see Mrs. Driscoll. Everybody else goes into the waiting room. This is going to go back and forth. This is where we get fast again with the back and forths.
Yeah.
In the waiting room, Mike and Lucas are, decide that they need a snacky, and then go over to the snack machine, and the Kit Kat gets stuck, and they're like, smack, 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 and the Kit Kat's not coming out. And Elle just looks at it and 20 candies fall out. 20 candies go falling out. And Lucas is like, that's your olive branch, bro. And Mike's like, what's an olive branch? And it's like,
fucking
oh
Mike.
My gosh. Fucking Mike. Up down the hall, Nancy and Jonathan, they make it to Mrs. Driscoll's room. But on the way down the hall, they notice this room has charts all over the floor. This room is blinking red that they need help. They get into Mrs. Driscoll's room, and all of the flowers are all over the place. The vases are knocked over, yada, yada, yada. Where is she? Okay. And all of a sudden, in the doorway, she's gone home.
Captain
and it's
Dickhead.
Fucking Tom. Oh my gosh, it was fucking Tom. Tom's covered in blood. Like, dude.
Tom's a dick.
Dude.
I don't know how you drink anything out of that mug. It's all got to taste weak.
We are.
Yeah, choking. Finish your sentences.
Okay. Tom's covered in blood. They're like, oh shit, he's flayed. They go down the hallway. You know, they're trying to get away from Tom, running down the hallway. Who's down the hallway but fucking Jake Busey?
Fucking Jake Busey.
Because, like, they smack Tom in the head with the vase, okay? And Jake Busey's like, ow.
I wonder if, like, kids will ever appreciate that Jake Busey is Gary Busey's kid. Just the bizarre Looney Tunes-ness that Gary Busey was.
Unless you lived in the time of Gary Busey, you probably wouldn't even know.
Yeah, I just think, like, fuck, man. You had to be there, I guess.
Oh, I just want to take a quick break to say we are. So just wanted to
Not
say
very
that.
Good.
Just had to say
you
that.
got to finish your sentences.
Penn State. We are Penn State. So Jake Busey's like, owie, and it's like, oh no, he's flayed too.
He gets all... like the spider veins all across his face.
Yes. Okay. And now we're in the waiting room again. Okay. And Lucas is throwing candies into Max's mouth, and Mike and Elle are sitting next to each other, and Mike's giving her some M&Ms and saying, hey, I like the new look, you know, because they're, you know, they're working it out, okay? And then Nancy and Jonathan are running, and they're running, and there's dead bodies of staff everywhere, and they run into a construction wing, okay? And there's an emergency phone, and they pick it up, and it's ringing. But Chicky over at the desk is still on the phone talking to her friends and is completely oblivious that everybody's dead.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So
that's another 80s trope too, that there was always that dereliction of duty trope.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just gotta taste so weak. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking I'm drinking cinnamon vanilla coffee.
Probably tastes like water.
It does not. Tastes delicious. Yeah, I went for the cinnamon because it's like more of a dessert coffee. It's not a first thing in the morning coffee. You know, it's not gonna, like, it doesn't have any balls.
You look like a stripper. I'm gonna call you Cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
All right, we got 12 minutes. Can we do it?
Oh yeah, because we're just about at the end. Okay, so Nancy, like, okay, Jake Busey starts beating the shit out of Jonathan, like kicking the shit out of him. And Nancy takes a pair of scissors and goes right in the back of Jake Busey. And Jake Busey's like, ow, you know, so
I mean, like,
Nancy's
you would.
Like, yeah, he's like, ow, you know, owies. Nancy's like, starts running away. And Jake Busey's following her. But Jonathan can't get up because Jonathan, like, just got the shit kicked out of him. And Jake Busey's like being like Jack Nicholson in The Shining right now. Okay. But then Tom starts kicking the shit out of fucking Jonathan, and Jonathan's like, and now we're going back and forth. We're going back and forth between like Nancy and Jake Busey, and we're going back and forth between Jonathan and Tom, and Nancy's trying to hide, and Jake Busey's trying to find her. You know, we're in different wing. There's lots of, you know, hospital curtains and shit. Look like maybe they're building an emergency room or something like that. And Nancy is hiding with a fire extinguisher. Okay. Nancy comes out and like slams that fire extinguisher into Jake Busey's head.
I love watching that.
Oh, yes. And Tom, who was about to kill Jonathan, with a freaking stool with, solid metal 4 legs, and he's about to, just like Swiss cheese Jonathan. He feels it because the whole being flayed thing together.
Right.
Nancy gets him again in the head, and Tom feels it, and they both got killed at the same time. Okay. And then the lights go out, and then they go back on, and they start to flicker. And Will notices, out in the waiting room, and everybody else doesn't really notice because they're all like, making up with each other. Finally, the little back and forth between the guys and the girls in this entire episode is finally stopping. But shit's going down, and the lights are flickering. And Tom and Jake Busey, their dead bodies start writhing and squelching on the floor, and then their bodies melt into this icky, disgusting goo.
Super gross.
Super gross. And this ooze starts like morphing into like blobs, and the blobs start crawling towards each other. Like their dead body blobs are crawling towards each other, and then they meet and they morph into this giant fucking blob dog monster. This oozy, blobby dog monster. And it goes, "Rawr!" And
that thing looks dangerous.
Holy shit, I don't know what that is.
I don't know, but it ain't no Demogorgon.
It ain't no Demodog either.
Right.
That was like ooze dog.
It looks pretty fucking formidable. So I had to look it up because I can never remember where Jake Busey is in my head canon, and it's Starship Troopers.
Yeah, Starship Troopers.
He's been in a shit ton of other stuff I've seen, but like that's where he got like in my head.
Oh yeah. Starship Troopers and Dina's boobs.
Yeah.
The only good bug is a dead bug.
Her boobs are pretty all right.
No, they're not. We've talked about this. I think we've talked about this on this show.
I think so, but you're still wrong.
They're pointy, and they're teeny, but they're pointy, and they just don't. So weird, dude. They're so weird. There's something wrong with those boobs.
They're just different.
Aww.
See, that's what
you made me spill my coffee.
You got a drinking problem. You made me ink.
Damn it. I hope everybody enjoyed that.
Yeah, well, that's what it looks like when Kelly's full.
Damn it, Don. Well, we will be back.
Blame Jake Busey.
Yeah. In 2 weeks. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Because somebody's going on a cruise.
Yeah, unless my cruise ship sinks.
Oh, don't say that. We're only halfway through the fucking series.
Okay, I'll come back.
You better not die on me, because I am not doing this solo, okay?
Don't die on me now, Snooch.
You bastard. Why would you even say that?
Cruise ships don't really sink. The only time I've ever heard of a like a cruise ship sinking,
like the Titanic.
Well, no. Well, yes, that was a cruise ship, but that was like an ocean liner masquerading as a cruise ship. But there was one in Europe maybe 2 years ago or so where the fucking captain ran it aground and it like tipped over.
I remember that. But it was very shallow.
Yeah. He clipped a fucking coastline or something.
Yeah.
A lot of people died in it, but I mean,
yeah.
I'd like to avoid that.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Where are you going again? The Caribbean?
Bahamas. But yeah, it's in Caribbean.
Yeah. With your Padawan, your oldest Padawan?
No, she's not going. It's just me.
What? It's just you?
Yeah, solo snooch.
Solo snooch.
Yeah, snooch
You're
solo.
gonna be doing some snoochy things.
I doubt it. Nobody's tried to snooch my snooch in a long time.
Put a pineapple on your door and turn it upside down.
Yeah, that might happen.
just wrap it up.
You know what the problem is? You do that. It's
Mhm.
usually a package deal.
Yeah, that is true.
You don't get the misses without the mister, and I don't play that game.
There's so many things that I can say, but this is not the show for that.
Yeah, nobody's snooching that snooch either.
We'll talk about that on Wednesday when I guest host with Brady Big Lovin' and Dragon Buddy and Alan from Grave Reviews at 7:05 p.m. Eastern on ATSW, the Escape Pod. Be there.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can track down Hennifer in the Bahamas too. I bet that bitch is down there.
You leave Hennifer alone.
If I find her down there, I'm gonna let everybody know.
I'm so disappointed in you right now.
Say goodbye to everyone,
Hennifer.
Kelly.
Bye, everybody. Dave is fine. Hustis for Hennifer. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye. 2 weeks.